Well, welcome everybody. Sorry I'm a minute or two late. Welcome to the Director's Garage Live Hump Day, non-Hump Day happy hour. I'm glad you could be with us today. Sorry I'm a minute or two late. Believe it or not, I was actually just shooting an episode of the Director's Garage. The next episode, I was just shooting it. So, yeah, I literally up until the second... And I hadn't even pulled out the laptop yet. Oh, look, I've even got the Director's Garage up there, and we got to change that to the live logo. I mean, don't we? Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is. And I got candles today. Who knew? I don't know why. I hope you guys enjoyed the shootout, the mega shootout, and I agreed to come forth and be publicly flogged. If you guys wanted to call me to task for any of my decisions, I'm perfectly willing to take the hit, as it were. So glad to be joining. Cheers, everybody. It is happy hour on a Friday. We're a half an hour early from our typical start because Mrs. Director is going to be home perhaps a little bit on the early side, and I've got to be kind of ready to, you know, go to dinner and stuff. So we may be getting off the air a little earlier, but we're starting earlier today. So, cheers. A couple of things. We're going to open a package live on the air today. We're going to do that for sure. And I just shot the next episode, so we're already ahead of the game. The one nice thing about having a week to roll out shows, and after it took me 2 weeks to build that last episode, the big 50-minute monster that I cut into 3 parts, delivered 3 episodes this week. It's a lot. It's a lot of me. Hope you guys could stand it. Man, that's a lot of me. That's too much me for me. Three 20-minute videos in a week. Wow. So we're going to be looking at, let me make sure we're all right here. We got everything up and running. Yeah, looks okay. Looks like we've got sound and everything. That's a good thing. And I've got the special top camera today. There's my mouse. Don't ask questions about that mouse. This is from like 1990. This is Microsoft, and this is the mouse. This mouse here, it's a trackball, and they stopped making them about 15 years ago, and my hand is so used to using this mouse that I buy these things off the web. I buy them like new old stock. And they'll cost several $100s for one of these. Can you believe it? So how crazy is that? But yeah, that's my mouse, in case you're wondering. But this is what we're going to open. We're going to open this on live on the air. It's something I ordered. I think it's going to be kind of fun. It's not like major thing. You know, I don't do the big stuff on the live show. But we'll do this in a few minutes. And we'll talk about the shootout if you want. We can discuss the rankings. And I was going to suggest, too, you know, that I can make a case for several other headphones to come out as number one, and I chose the Abyss because I know it's the most expensive, and it's, you know, of that bunch. It's tied with the Susvara now for the most expensive headphone, but it does deliver the sound in the most emotional way. And it is the most moving headphone. And in the current way I've got it, with the gear that I have, and admittedly, I've talked about the Susvara before and how the Susvara is really it's been a puzzle to solve, and I don't feel like it's a solved issue. And if I could find the amp that was perfect for it, and I haven't, and I've been trying a lot of different amps, you guys know that on this show, maybe it would reemerge in that upper echelon, in those top things. I just don't know that I have the patience or the funds to keep throwing money at amp after amp after amp. I've spent more than $10,000 on amps in the last years looking for a great solve for the Susvara, and everything I've tried, every time I get one in here that somebody has said that's the one to use. You know, we had the Phonitor X, which from headphones.com. That's how they reviewed the Susvara, was with the Phonitor X. And went out and spent $3,000 on that. Well, it wasn't that much, it was used, but I spent several thousand on that amp. And then I bought I had the GS-X Mark II in here, which is it's a robust big amp. And then I have the Ferrum stack, and I had somebody in the comments the other day say the Ferrum stack isn't powerful enough for the Susvara, and I'm like, okay, well, I keep trying stuff, and every time I get something, it's like Linus with, or Lucy with the football. So, they keep moving the goalpost further back. And I'm like, well, how much more money am I going to be spending to get the Susvara to do what it should do, if that's the case? So, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I also, somebody else commented, and I can't remember who, but somebody had commented that they want me to keep, well, okay, we gotta stop with all the notifications here. Let's put this on silent, okay? Somebody had suggested that they want me to keep the Focal Utopia for a direct comparison with the Focal Utopia 2022 when I can get that in-house, because that is something that's obviously on the short list, as is the Expanse and the Final Audio D8000. I definitely want that headphone in here in the next year. But, it comes down to I need to make moves so that I can afford new gear. And so do I... if I choose not to sell the Utopia, I've got to get that 2,000. I'm assuming they sell around $2,000. That's what they're going for right now. Maybe a little more. But I have to get that 2,000 from somewhere else. So I have to sell something else to get me there so that I can buy, the Utopia 2022. And what is that? I don't know. The Utopia gets me a good deal into whatever the next thing is. So, it's all the games we have to play here when I'm figuring out what I want to do next for the show. And then somebody's like, well, put the money into a new amp for, a Bakun 13R, which I've seen several have come up on the used market. They're out there right now, but they're still over $4,000. And I'm like, well, what's better for the show? Finding an ideal amp for the Susvara or getting the Expanse in here from Dan Clark Audio? I would argue that the Expanse is a better show. It's a more interesting show. You guys would appreciate it more if I got the Expanse here than if I got the Bakun 13R to drive the Susvara. Do I personally want to hear it? Yeah, I do want to hear it. But at some point, we got to make some choices. Choices must be made. Sacrifices for the good of the show must happen. So we've got some things have got to happen in order to make all of this stuff fall in line. In case you were wondering, we're like a minute and a half late getting on the air today, and it was because I was shooting the next episode of the show, and I literally said I had to fudge the ending and just say I'll see you before we know it, and and get out of the show, because I'm like, oh my god, it's 3:00. I got to turn everything over to the live show, because I promised you guys a 3 p.m. live show today. So I'm like, oh, I'd like to make that happen, But we've got some new ambiance back there. This is I had to. On my shoots, if you'll know a lot of my shoots on Entertainment Tonight, you'll know my stuff because you'll usually see a candle in the background. Well, I buy these lifelike battery-operated candles. Those are all battery-operated, but they have nice flicker and they have some nice action going on. And as I looked at the monitor, I buy these things so that I can have them in the background. And I had 3 candle wax, realistic feeling candles, but you can't, everything's out of focus. Nobody can tell the difference. So I had to buy some new candles from Amazon because I dropped one and cracked it because it was paraffin or wax or whatever. And so I bought some hard plastic ones that I can throw in a bag and not worry about. And so I thought, what the hell, I'll just throw them in the background today and just have some fun. So that's what they are. They're remote control. I can turn them off and on and dim them and make them brighter and all sorts of stuff. Kind of fun things. So cheers, everybody. I hope your Friday is going well. I hope you've enjoyed the labor that was the shootout, the 8 is enough shootout. Get some nectar. And it was a blast to do. I took some criticism on the chin in those comments, and most of it's probably justified, you know. But the other thing I'd say is, you know, I get a lot of people who just like, well, it's not a real shootout it's not a real shootout. Well, at some point we have to do the shootout. Like, it would be great if I just held off and got every amp possible for the Susvara, say, to in here, so I could really test them and do a fair and all that test and try a different DAC with this and that. And I'm like, well, at some point I got to go with what I got, because it's all I got. You know, I can't have everything in here. I am not, you know, I'm not Warren Buffett. I try to make investments like Warren Buffett. We could talk about that sometime. But I don't, you know, I just don't have an endless, bottomless set of funds to go at this headphone. And certainly not on a show that loses money as much as this show does. So subscribe to the Director's Garage so you don't miss. Help me recoup and fund this addiction that is the headphone stuff. All right, let's go to the chat and just start opening things up, and then we're going to open up a little package, a little something fun, hopefully, if it's what I think it is. Either that or it's a giant package of heroin, which, you know, could be. You never know. Which would be a totally different show. All right, Herstoff says, to me, the star of the show was the Meze Elite. And to me, they're all the stars of the show. And I know that's a pat answer, and it sounds like bullshit, but it's not. I bought every one of those headphones. Every one of them I bought with my money, and I kept them around because I thought there's some really good value here in listening to the differences between the two. And not one of them is a bad headphone. Like, I don't look at any of them and go, oh, that's just awful. I just look at, like, there's certain things that this headphone did a little bit better than that headphone. And, you know, although it would seem that maybe the LCD5 and the ZMF, you know, they didn't rank as high as maybe some had hoped in the final rankings. I'm like, yeah, but I still, you know, the LCD5 I still use when I'm listening to jazz on like a Sunday morning and something. You know, I'm not a huge fan of like the contact on my ears. I wish that they would do something about that, you know, give me some pad options or something, but I still think they're a great neutral reference pair of headphones, and they're so fast, and there's so many good things about the LCD5, and I was really impressed by them when I heard them at Can Jam a year ago, and then I was even more impressed when I got them here and I heard them in person. And, you know, when you start stacking them against some other things that have a lot more emotion and have a lot more, you know, pushing bass, and, you know, the singer is just like, you feel it so much more on some of these other headphones. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, something has to come in down the line, and that's what I chose as far as what I'm going to value in for the purposes of the shootout. I could make a case that something like the LCD4 really should have won the shootout in some ways. They give you almost the Abyss feeling. The Abyss, you know, the Abyss is just otherworldly. And I with this setup and the way it is, every person who has, I've said this before, every person who has come in here, and I've let them try like 3 or 4 top tier headphones, when they put the Abyss on, they're like, whoa. In fact, several of them said, why do you even have these other headphones? This is so spectacular. And I agree with them. It's so expensive, and it's ridiculously priced, and it's ridiculously shaped. But when it comes to that, delivering on emotion and delivering on all of those elements, like put together in one thing, it's like, yeah, I can't deny moving it down the list would be unfair to the quality of that headphone and how it makes you feel when you're wearing them, and how it brings the sound in. And some people say, well, you picked, one person said, you picked the most uncomfortable headphone. I'm like, it's not the most uncomfortable headphone. It's not the most comfortable headphone for sure. It is the most ridiculous headphone in terms of what it is. There's no question about that. But as far as experience and putting all of that together, and like the level that it rises to, I couldn't in good conscience put something else ahead of it when I was doing the rankings to my thinking. However, the LCD4 delivered so close. I got bings and bangs, and I just got to cool it with all these stuff, put everything on silent mode. The LCD4 delivered so close to that Abyss experience. $2,000, much easier to drive. Not an easy headphone to drive, but much easier to drive than the Abyss, certainly. But still, you know, tough. You know, it takes a hefty amp. You can't get by with, coming right out of a player or something, or out of your iPhone. But still, you know, not as demanding to drive. A little bit on the heavy side, but more comfortable easily than the Abyss. And $2,000 for a set used, $2,200 maybe. And some people are still trying to sell them for $3,000 and $4,000 to recoup what they spent on them. Sorry, burping. Some people are still having them on the market for $3,000 and $4,000 because they're trying to recoup what they have invested in. I'm like, it's just not the way it works. You guys are going to have your headphones on the market for a while. But the ones that are moving are like $2,200 if it's a good pair, $2,000 if it's like an average pair. I don't think I've seen them in the $1,800 range yet. Maybe somebody got theirs for that amount, but that's a steal. That's a steal. It's lower than the price of anything else here, and you get that experience that is almost to that absolute utter top tier. So we've talked about a lot. Let's go to the chat and see what you guys think. So anyway, the Mezzo was a star of the show. Yes, it was. Absolutely. It was a star of the show. And it's a headphone that it's my most used headphone, although the Lyric now is getting a lot of use because I'm taking them to work with me and I'm wearing them at work now when I don't use IEMs at work. So I am spending some time. Mike Danello says, "How dare you, Michael? How dare you?" That's what I was going for, guys. That's what I was going for. Ryan Dietz with the cheers. Cheers, everybody. Hey, welcome to Friday. We made it. What a week. What a week. And I would sell the GS-X and keep... Ryan says he would sell the GS-X and keep the Ferrum stack. Yeah, I think that's something I'd be willing to do. I don't... The GS-X, look, it's got some miles on it. It's definitely a used amp, and I don't have a need for it. I haven't found anything that it does better than the Ferrum stack. So it's like, well, why do I have it then? And I got to look up the power out. Somebody should look up the power rating on that and take a look and see if it's actually more powerful than the Ferrum stack. I don't know. Matthew Hilty says that mouse is still cheaper than tubes. Depends on the tube. like man, the new one of those in a box is like, it'll be $300. It's something. Matthew says also, just give up and get an AHB2 speaker amp for the Susvara. Yeah, well, and then if you read the HeadFi threads on people who have amped the Susvara, there are several cases in those threads of people who went, well, I hooked my Macintosh MC452 up to the Susvara, and it sounded absolutely fantastic. And then the Susvara fried out. Like, oh, there's a good idea. Let's burn $6,000. I don't know. But I can go to the ridiculous steps. Like I said, there's a Bakun out there right now for I think $4,500, something like that, in HeadFi, and I think I saw one on eBay even a while ago too, and that all in that $4,000, $4,500 range, something like that. And it's attractive. It's, I could go and try and maneuver and sell some things to get that. But honestly, like, you guys are my friends. Wouldn't you guys rather see, like, us open a new Expanse here, or the Focal Utopia 2020, or the X9000 from Stax? Isn't that a little more exciting than the Bakun amp with the Susvara, which I've been trying to amp for you know, almost coming up on 2 years. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you tell me. It seems to me like at some point, do we cut and run, or do I just, you know, it's an awful lot of money to have sitting in a bin over here, you know, not gathering dust, but, you know, like sitting around not being used. That's a lot of capital just sitting in a drawer, and it's only going to start going down in value because you know sooner or later there will be a Susvara 2 or a Susvara Pro or a Susvara or a Thieaudio or whatever the hell it is from Hifiman that's going to eclipse it, and then I'm going to have a supremely devalued top grade headphone. So maybe it does make sense to move on from the Susvara for now, and if I could always come back and revisit it later. I don't know. These are the decisions I need to sit down, you know, late at night and contemplate while I'm stoned. I don't get stoned. Sorry, guys. It's nothing against people who like it. It's just not for me. But, you know, that's something that I should probably do. Ansel Adams says, Golden Sound argue Bravura could be considered a value because you get the chain with it, versus the Susvara, which needs an uber expensive chain. Yeah, and you know, and if I could get the Lima audio thing, that would be probably fantastic for the Susvara. It's like, let's spend $10,000 a component. I'll have $40,000 hooked up in one headphone. It's you know, okay, well then you're 10 grand away from just getting. Just, you know, you could go absurd. You just get the HE1 from Sennheiser then. You know, why not just do that? Because it's all in one. You know, I don't know. It just gets silly at some point. So, yeah. And, you know, other reviewers have their own opinion. I don't take qualms with what anybody says about any of this stuff. Ryan says, the show conditions... Also, show conditions, so take it with a grain of salt. Oh, I see. He was at the show, but he doesn't think the Analum Bakun is significantly better than the Ferrum Stack. Ryan, did you listen to that with the Susvara, though? Did you do that? Did you think that there, you know... Because there are people who say, well, once you... What I'm hearing, what people keep arguing to me is that once you put even more power than the Ferrum Stack into them, the Susvara thinness in the mids go away. But my argument against that is that I've heard that thinness in the HE1000. I heard it in the Aria Stealth. Like, I think it's part of the Hifiman sound. And that's not bad. It's just like, it's something that's a characteristic, and either you buy into it or you don't. And increasingly, I'm not buying into it because I'm enjoying what these other headphones are doing more. I'm not calling attention to the fact, and I just did one today, the one I did a blind unboxing from my friends at Audio 46, and folks, if you don't know, I'll tell you that in a later. But I did a blind unboxing. There's a headphone buried back here that I just opened, and I'm like, damn, like these are really good products, and how much better am I getting for all this extra money? And I'm keep trying, but they don't have that thinness. Now they have other problems, but that thinness in the upper mids isn't there. And I'm like, just getting a little annoyed by it, that I'm constantly chasing this one problem I'm trying to solve. And maybe it's just like A, unsolvable, or B, you know, and maybe, and there are people who say, hey, the Susvara amped right is like the voice of God. Well, that's fine, you know, but I don't hear it so far in my ears, and that's okay. You know, buy what you like and love what you like. You know, love what you like. Right now, it's like I mean, I love the Elite, and I love the LCD4. And I'm telling you, man, if you've got the money laying around, you won't lose money on $2,000 on an LCD4. They're not going to drop much more than that. So for $100 or two, it's very low risk, because you know you can resell it for what you paid for it. Try it. Like, I would challenge you to just give it a shot, because, you know, and I got no stake in this. I'm not making money off of it. I just, like, if you're really looking for a world-class experience, a top-tier level experience, I'm telling you, that LCD4 is right there. You know, so that's what I say. Okay, let's move on to the further down the chat. Sir further surprised himself. Hi-Fi Boog purchased. What'd you purchase? Wait a second, the thing jumped. Damn it, Hi-Fi Boog. Purchased a Geshelli stack this week. Oh, he plans on giving it to his wife for Christmas. Dude, we got to talk about what you give your wife for Christmas. Rethink that. As a married man for 15 years, if I bought my wife a headphone amp for Christmas, it's going to be a long couple of months. That's all right. I'm kidding with you, man. Okay. But he's saving for the Ferrum stack, which, by the way, she won't kill you is bad for when you finally do buy it, because she has the Geshelli. Okay. I still think it might be a slightly twisted logic there, but I'm gonna let you have your fantasy, my friend. That's great. Waiting on the topping G5 also. Put Taconi pad. Well, you got a lot to say, Hi-Fi Boog. Put Taconi pads on his LCD2, and it's a world different. Well, and I have on the LCD4s, which are still wired up and ready to fire up. Let's get these up here. These bad boys. Boy, they really are a solid, heavy unit. But these aren't stock pads. I didn't even do it in the overhead. Wait, can we do it? Oh, shit. Now we can. These aren't stock pads. These are fenestrated. Let me get that out of there. These are fenestrated leather. They're either ZMF. They might be ZMF, or they could be Taconi. One or the other, probably, because they're the memory foam, and they're wonderful. They feel great, and they sound fantastic. So I can't, I'm like, yeah, I could go back and try the stock. I'm like, why mess with something that I'm actually enjoying? That doesn't... Here's an idea. Let's take something that's absolutely fantastic and wreck it for the sake of experimentation. To get the pure... Wow, I wrapped a cable around my chair. Brilliant, Michael. Brilliant. Oh, hey, look. Sex Chat 69 site. Folks, don't we have enough problems? Oh, Lord. Okay, so we got rid of that. So, yes, we left off with the Taconi pads with LCD2. Yeah, I try them. Use them. Absolutely. Good things. Good things. And I have a number of pads, replacement pads. On the Elite, I'm using a pair of Empyrean ear pads, because I like the way they feel better. It's true. I like the lambskin leather feel of that. I don't like Alcantara that much. So I'm like, even though the ones that they give you are thinner with the Elite. So I'm like, give me the thicker pads back. I like the thicker pads. I like the way they feel. Am I giving up a little sound? Maybe. I don't really care. I want them the way I want them. So there. Chef Steve says, you gotta chase DACs and amps to make your headphones sound better for you. It means you brought... Oh, if you've gotta chase DACs and amps to make the headphones sound better to you, it means you bought the wrong headphone. Well, I have somebody who's been trolling over in the chat, or over in the comments, saying that the cord stuff is absolute garbage. Okay. Absolute rubbish. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. I disagree. I think they're pretty good. Are they overpriced? Probably, but I like them, so work for me. I've got a couple of cord things here, and I'm a big fan. Somebody was saying, they'll take the shit jotting time, and I'm like, well, that's great, but try and play a DSD file on a shit jotting time. Oops. Can't do it. Okay. So there you go. Ryan Dietz, Geshelli, good. Yeah, good for people. Good people. I haven't tried any Geshelli stuff. I should try and get something in here. Wood cases look incredibly nice too. Okay, we're giving props to Geshelli today. I believe it. I believe in it. Hi-Fi Book says, yes, he's afraid he's going to like it more than his stacks, and it's going to be the next door office. Be next door in his office. So you're going to have, what you need then is you got to get the 25-foot long headphone cable. And then you just sneak in there while she's, you know, on going to the bathroom or something. You sneak in there, plug it in, and run the cable through the wall or something. Don't mind me, honey. Just borrowing your amp. Bronson says, hey, Michael, great job on the flagship shootout. Was a rich reference deciding on headphone purchases. And always listen for yourself. Don't buy me. I mean, I've got old man ears. 55 years old. He's 100% keeping an eye out for a pair of Audeze's. Now, yeah, for the Audeze, the LCD5 and the LCD4. Yeah, and good reason. I'm probably not going to be able to keep the 5. I would like to keep the 5 because it is such a good reference pair. It's such a good pair of like cleansing headphones. You know, like you need, you know, they make you drink something in between when you're doing wine tasting or eat a piece of bread or something. It is a great cleansing headphone because it's so neutral and so beautiful. Such a great headphone and one of the prettiest in the shootout. You know, with respect to ZMF, I think the ZMF is, you know, next level in gorgeousness. But boy, the Audeze just keeps getting better and better with their designs. Somebody else said it was somebody else implied in the chat. I probably shouldn't read the comments. I probably should just go blindly forward and, you know, not worry about it. But I do like to read what you guys write. And somebody wrote that it's in the episode 2 that it's the Audeze biased show. And I'm like, really? Their rankings, Audeze didn't, you know, they came out, they were well represented, but they weren't in the top 2. They weren't in the top 3. So yeah, interesting. And that's another thing somebody else said about the Audeze Carbon. You know, well, get yourself the Molnar whatever amp, Electrostat amp, and that you'll have all that bass representation at lower power levels. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a $4,000 amp, I think, last I checked. And I'm like, okay, well, if I get $4,000, am I going to replace what most people regard as the ultimate driver of electrostatic headphones in the Blue Hawaii Special Edition? Or am I going to get a Utopia 2020 and or an Expanse from Dan Clark, which I'm dying to hear? You know, to try and improve what's a really good sound, it's just I got to play it loud. No, you know, that doesn't make sense either. So there you go. Definitely. But Hi-Fi Boo Grindy says, what are you using now? He's got the SML. This is like, I'm getting into your like personal conversation here. Sometimes he uses the Zendak 2. Not a big fan of it. Hi-Fi Boo gotcha. Cool. Enjoying the Stream Deck. Susvara X. Okay, here we go. Matthew Hiltley says, Susvara X. It's got the X because it's the new hotness. Yes, great. Come out with the Susvara X and my Susvara will be worth 0. Can't give them away. Now, I would think that would hold some value, but it's like, it makes sense to maybe get rid of the Susvara now. So that's kind of where I'm leaning at the moment. And I'm not attached to the headphone. It's like, it's a good headphone. It's comfortable, fun to use. But, you know, I'm going to the LCD4s more right now, and I like the Abyss over all of them. For whatever reason. Spicy Take, JTB. The Meze Elite is a wannabe HE1000, but it's not even close. Except when you start talking bass and bass presence and bass slam. Because the HE1000 cannot rock with the Meze Elite. The HE1000 is a faster headphone, though. I would agree with you. The HE1000 is tremendously fast. Great technical headphone. But it's... there's things about each that I appreciate, though. They actually be a pretty good complementary pair, now you think about it. When you want to go to that, but here's also the difference is the Meze, particularly female vocals are just so intimate and like gorgeous in your head. And the HE1000, it's more of a lofty effect to the vocals, whereas the vocals on the Meze are get very intimate, and you know, I feel more connected, maybe a little bit. I don't know, but I don't have them in here for direct comparison, so maybe that's not even fair. But spicy take, I'll let you know, go with that. That's cool with me. Hi-Fi Boog. Yeah, the thing that's amazing, he kind of brought the topping G5 in mind. Close back to complete the setup. Okay, that's part of that private discussion that I'll let you guys have. Mike Denal says, if you're interested in revisiting a video on sound comparisons between master tape, vinyl CD, cassette, SACD, you have a Love Supreme, at least, maybe a few others if you have more tapes. I have a ton of tape here, Mike. A ton of reel-to-reel tape. I talked about, way back in episode 2 of the Director's Garage, I talked about formats and where we've come and where we've gone. And yeah, the tape is definitely something that I'm fascinated with. It's my latest kind of passion. It was fun to use for the shootout and put stuff through that and put stuff, you know, used a lot of different things. Ryan says he didn't listen to the Susvara, unfortunately, 1266 and Expanse. And, oh, okay, that's going back to that amp thing. Yeah, that's the, you know, $50,000 question. Maybe literally. $50,000 question. Ryan is like, what does it sound like with the Susvara? But the 1266 is special, and believe me, it's a headphone I would love to bash. It would not hurt me at all to tell you that the Susvara is not worth it. It's you know, it's like, it's overrated this and it's overrated that, but my ears can only tell me what my ears tell me, and especially when you look at what Abyss has done with the raising the price on their top tier, like, it's really, like, really, guys, how did it become $1,000 more to, maybe during the pandemic it became $1,000 more to make that headphone, but we're through the pandemic now and you're still sitting up there with your pricing. So I don't know. Like I said, I would love to tell you that it's not my favorite headphone. I think that the sound it's undeniable on that, and most people who've heard it say it's something. Ryan says he agrees with me. Something well, you hear, it's hard to unhear, and he's a Hifiman fan. Yeah, and I'm a Hifiman fan too. Look, I've got the Susvara. I still think that the HE1000 is one of the best headphones ever made. Period. I will say that till I'm dead, which might be the end of the weekend if some of the haters come to find me. Who knows? But yeah, it's you know, yeah, they're great. I just think that there's something special about this Abyss in this setting with whatever I'm feeding it, and maybe I can find better synergy with something else. I just haven't yet. So I'm going to, you know, go with what I think. Alejandro says, good job on the shootout. Cheers, Alejandro. Cheers to you for even saying that, buddy, because it was a lot of work. It was 2 weeks of cutting, and not to mention the research that went into that episode. You know, maybe a month of listening. There was a lot to it to try and make it, you know, as fair as possible and as representative as I thought. And I'm telling you, even like when we get to upper mids and when we get to like mids and treble, I'm still not sure I got the rankings right. I think they're close, but you know, I also think that I could have done some things differently. As far as the production of the show, I was regretting all the pink lettering by the end of it. I'm like, this is making my eyes bleed. So I'll probably revamp some of the coloration for the next one at least, if not the graphics, because I was getting tired of that. I'm like, I should have done something else for this one. Would have been fun. Anyway, he's too much of a peasant to buy any of these flagships. But he uses the 99 War. I have not heard the 99 War, and I want to hear the 109 Pro. Why's it got to be the 109 Pro, Meze? Explain that to me. Is there a 109 Amateur? What do I think of the Focal Elysia? I haven't heard it. $4,400. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, $400. I'd even look for a used pair and see if you can snag them for cheaper than that. Pretty good. Salted Peanut says he loved my 3-pouch shootout. Michael, cheers, Salted. Thank you for saying that. Making my heart swell. When it comes down to this echelon with all these amazing headphones, it's all about personal preference, and in the end, it's subjective. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And like I said earlier, if you were here earlier in the show, I made a case that the LCD4 probably, you know, in one respect, probably should have won the shootout. I can make that argument. You know, I can make the argument for the LCD4. Absolutely. Because it's the best value. It gets you the closest to that very top sound. Pardon me. It gets me closest to that top sound, to the absolute best sounding headphones in the bunch, and it certainly is in that upper echelon. I just think the Abyss maybe just puts it together overall a little better, but it's not nearly as uncomfortable as the Abyss or as challenging as the Abyss from an ergonomic standpoint, and it's easier to drive than the Abyss. So yeah, I could have made the argument that the LCD4 won the shootout. I could make the argument that the Meze, being half the price of the Abyss, delivers a just as connected an experience to the music in world-class comfort. I wouldn't have if somebody came in and made that argument to me, I go, yeah, okay, I can see that. I can see that. It comes down to preference. Yeah, exactly. Totally. And I respect other people's opinions. That's the other thing we got to do around here is, like, because you like some, you know, just because JTB, say, likes the HE1000 SE over the Abyss or whatever, or over the Meze Elite, I respect his opinion. I think that's great. You know, he loves that sound, and I'm like, that's good enough for me. I'm like, go on, man, son, find some great music and enjoy your life. It's you know, and we're so alike in our preferences, JTB and I probably, you know, I can't knock him for it. It's like he's found something that works for him. Fantastic. That's what you need. Dion says, personally, he felt that the Ferrum is better than the Millennium for the Susvara. The Millennium has an upper mid forward sound that he found fatiguing. That is so interesting, and that makes me want to get rid of these Susvaras even more. Then I've been trying, and I'm not saying that the and I'm not saying that the Susvara sounds bad. I'm not saying, you know, please don't walk away from this show ever with the headphone with the impression that I'm saying that the Susvara is a bad headphone, or it sounds spectacular. It's a, you know, if you're in the top 5 for best headphones that I've ever heard, you're doing really good. What I'm saying is that I don't feel like I found the maximum potential of that headphone. Every time I put them down and I walk away from a session, I'm like, there's more out there. I have a feeling in my gut that there's more out, that headphone can do even more for me. And I don't feel like that I feel like with the Abyss, I'm getting the very best of the very best when I put that on. And I feel like it's really given me everything it's got. And I just think that there's something about the Susvara I feel like I'm still chasing. And maybe I need to just stop chasing. Maybe that's the answer. For a while. Always go back to it. Boog is now putting his dreams of the of a new amp on hold while he spends his money foolishly on a Focal Elysia. We've seen a whole shift in Hi-Fi Boog's demeanor since this show started. Cheers, Hi-Fi Boog. Man, you're the best. Great fun from you guys on here today. Ferrum stack is more neutral with a touch of warmth. Yeah. And on a headphone like the Susvara, a little bit of warmth seems to hook those up just right, because they are a little bit on the disc. They're a little bit of a cold headphone. So is the Susvara, for that matter, by the way. as far as a colder headphone. What's not cold is the Elite. The Elite is a warm headphone. It's a warm and fuzzy headphone, and it'll give you the warm feels. But the best thing, honestly, what I love about the Elite is this little AK240 perfectly drives them. So put it off the balanced output on that thing, you're hooked up. You can walk around with, you know, hearing unbelievable headphone experience, and you don't need any amps, you don't need any of the nonsense. You just walk around. They're just that good. Fantastic. JTB, do that with your G1000 SE. Put them on this. Put them on the output of this, and tell me how. I'm messing with you, man. Cheers, guys. Okay, Friday, huh? Let's talk about, for those of you who are just tuning in live for the first time, I do this once an episode. I talk about the ways you can support the channel, because, you know, I do lose money by the minute. You can go to audio46.com and do your basic headphone desirable shopping. You know, they have everything there. Audio 46 has everything you could possibly want in this business, and when you check out, if you use the coupon code Director's Garage, all one word, you'll knock an extra 5% off most of the items that they carry. Not everything. There's a couple companies like Campfire and Grado. They won't work with, because the manufacturer won't work with them on pricing at all. Whereas the other, you know, they'll like split it or whatever. In addition to that, if you buy it that way, you kick money automatically back to the show, which is a good thing. From my end, it doesn't cost you anything. You get to save money and you get a product. I don't do Patreon. I don't do any of that other stuff. I don't do subscriptions. I don't do whatever. So that's the way to pay back to the show, is to go out and buy yourself some gear and you know, you save yourself a little bit of money. I can think of worse ways to support the channel. You know? So that, and then the other thing you can do is we have affiliate links down below for Amazon, and if you have to buy something on Amazon, and I think it's in the States only, but if you click on the link down there to one of the products that I list on, that are listed on Amazon, and then you just buy anything. You just buy, I don't know, corn chips, buy packing peanuts. If you buy saran wrap, and you're going out to wrap a body up and pat it and drop it in the ground later, that's fine. But you can support the channel while you're doing that, because it kicks back to the show. Because I reference it. It doesn't cost you anything more at Amazon, anything. It's just because you click that link to go buy something on Amazon, they give me like a 3% or something, or 0.3%, or I don't even know what it is. It's not much money because I never get much from them, but you can do that, and that's another way to support the channel. And the other thing is we have an affiliate link with Linsole. You can go to linsole.com using our affiliate link, and then you can buy stuff on there, and then it would kick back to us. But I don't have, it doesn't give you 5% off or anything, so that's why I push the Audio 46, because I like to see you guys getting a discount on something. Okay, hey, let's dig into this. This is something I bought because I wanted to, and I'm hoping it's what I think it is. Oh shit, I'm on the wrong thing. I'm hoping it's what I think it is, and if it's not, you're going to see one very embarrassed director, because it's like, you know, a pair of tights or my wife's underwear she bought from Amazon. But I think I know what this is, and I'm going to open it now live on the show. And it's just a fun thing. It's just a fun thing. And yeah, we're ripping into it, gripping it, all that stuff. And if it's not what I think it is, I'm terribly sorry. And it's not. It's totally not. Oh, it's a pillow. Damn, I thought I had something new. That was a bust, guys. I'm sorry. It was a pillow for the couch in the living room or something. I thought it was... well, better luck next time. They can't all be winners, folks. Hey, let's get back to the chat. I tried to open something live on the show. I thought it was something that I ordered, but it turned out it's not. It happens. Where were we at? SMSL, am I at Hi-Fi Boog? What is he using? He's using the Lux CP20 upgraded tubes. Lots of tube rolling going on over in Hi-Fi Boog's territory. Oh, we're already past that. JTB says spicy take. Okay, we did that. We did that. Where am I at? On the chat. I gotta find us. Stand by while I read through some of this. Next shootout. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Salted Peanut was up. Next shootout, Audeze MM500, the upcoming ZMF Caldera. It's never ending. I know. I can keep buying stuff until I'm broke, and I probably will. I want to hear those headphones. I don't know that I want. Will they compete for the top tier? Who knows? And by all takes, the MM500 is a neutral headphone. What does it do for the LCD5? Because the LCD5 is the neutralest headphone I've heard. His wife's in the industry, all right with the present. Okay, very good. Ansel Adams says, do I use the TTM scaler as my main deck? It is my main deck. It is not my only deck. But it's the main thing that I use, yeah. It's pretty good. Pretty good unit. Most people think it's pretty good. You can hate on it if you want. Okay. Ifabook does have a 20-foot XLR. See? I knew that, and that's quite remarkable that you have a 20-footer. Oh, that was so bad. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Happy Friday, everybody. Hey, it's hump day. It's not happy hour. It's happy hour, but not hump day. We're on a Friday. I'm glad you all could join us today. Super excited to have that 3-episode week done. That was so exciting. And I shot episode 122 today. 122 of these things. Can you believe it? Unreal. Mike Denalo says, Michael, he ended up buying a used KSE 1500. Listening to me on them now. Beautiful, sturdy, yeah. Great headphone. And I still have mine. I still have mine. Bass a little lean, on the lean side, but you can EQ them, and the EQ on it kind of pushes the bass right up there. Tremendously fast IEM experience, one of the best. I still think it's probably my second favorite IEM that I've heard. That said, I so want that Viking Ragnar. I'm gonna work with Mr. John Moulton and see if I can get a pair in here in the coming months. I gotta get some cash flow though. Man, I've got too much stock. Guys, buy some stuff. Email me, directorsgarage@gmail.com if you want to buy something. And watch, I'll start listing some stuff down there as far as what I'm gonna sell and what the pricing is. I'm not trying to screw anybody over. I'm just trying to get as close to what I paid for stuff without taking a bath on something, so I can buy something else. But it should be a discount anyway. I mean, pretty good deal. And you know where you're getting it. And you also know who you're buying from. You know I'm not going to screw you guys because I've sent out stuff for free all the time. Hyphenbook says, I wish he could remember the guy who did it. He had dirt cheap, super custom cables. Yeah, I had a guy like that. I think he did Toxic cables, and they were out of Canada. And it was just a guy who was spending spare time building cables. And they were fantastic, and he didn't charge an arm and a leg, and you get pure silver OCC cable from them. Fantastic stuff. It was, I think the guy's Toxic, and then he kind of went pro and maybe sold the company off or something. I don't know. Hi-Fi Boog says, where'd it go? I'm so far behind on the chat today. I get I get rattled every time I see that 69 whatever it is come up. And cheers, whoever sent me provisorium, the love from Germany, the €5. I so appreciate it, man. Cheers to you. That means a lot. Just a thank you. And we've now, and in your honor, I will delete SexFine Pro. Amazing. Okay, going back up the list, I got to find out where I lost, because I lost my marker. Oh, here we go. Hifiman said the BTR could power, not sure on 5. Oh, okay, this is that the discussion. Okay. Dustin Johnson says he owns Atriums and the Verite closed. Atriums and the Verite closed. If I were to add one of these headphones in the shootout as a good contrast to these headphones, which would you choose to complement them? So to complement, I don't have the Verite closed. I'm going to say that up front. And I have not even heard the Verite closed. I'm a loser. The headphone that I've wanted to buy, it's on that short list of cans. If I come across a pair that's the right price with the right build and I really like them, I will buy them for sure. But I'm looking for the right price and the right deal and the right makeup, because you can buy them with all sorts of different constructions. I want to buy a pair that I really like. So if the right pair came up, yeah, it's definitely a pair that I want. What would I choose to complement the Atrium? Well, let's see. I'm not going to say. Honestly, I would say maybe the LCD4. It's a more open sound. It gives you a little more brightness on the top end. I'm trying to think like what I would do, because I'm trying to think of what would contrast with the Atrium. And for the value and for the money and for what they cost, yeah, I would say look at an LCD4 from Audeze, or I would look at the Hifiman Aria Stealth Magnet Edition. It's about the same, a little under the price of the Atrium, but it would give you a nice different sound. I would do that. Because the Atriums weren't tremendously fast, so I would want a faster headphone, and that would be the LCD4, or the Aria Stealth Magnet. I'd go with either of those. That would be my strategy if I was going to add a headphone to that mix. And I just haven't heard the Verite closed, so I'm not gonna. I wouldn't steer you one way or another because it's not fair. Okay, Alejandro says that is what he's not sure about. BTR 5 is more than enough for the 99 Noir and the Blessing 2 Dusk, but sound-wise, he's happy and in no hurry for a new headphone. Okay. Afabug needs a closed back, which is why he's considering it. He hasn't decided if he's going to spend $500 or $2,000. Well, what I would tell you, Hi-Fi Boog, if you were interested, is keep your eyes open for a used pair of the Meze Lyric. Renaro driver, solid, great sound, $2,000 overpriced, $1,000, $1,200 right in the pocket. And so you'd find something in between the two, and that's a really good closed back. That's fantastic. Really super impressed by these. These have been with me a lot. I wish they folded better flat. They do this. That ain't flat, folks. That's more like whatever. So there you go. And the 109 is an open back, so the Meze 109 is an open back. So there you go. Disco, he's super impressed with the 109s. Got an open back for $600. They are unbeatable at that price, in his opinion. Well, cheers to that. We all like something that's unbeatable at any price. Matthew Hilty says he doesn't think the Elegias are neutral. At least his pair. They fatigued after a long day of work. Matthew, was that because of the build? Was it because of the brightness? Because my problem with most focals is they're tuned to go a little on the brighty side, and that becomes annoying to me over time. That said, I still love the Utopia. Still love the Utopia. Great headphone. Matthew Hilty says he doesn't know the Elegias are neutral. At least his pair. What am I doing? Am I rereading? I'm just rereading what I just read. It's the drugs, folks. Stay off the drugs. I'm telling you. or start drinking wine earlier. Hifiman says, Meze, he's heard, he considers the lyric all the time. Yeah, really great. Great stuff. I'm going to try and get through some of these chats because I'm worried we're going to run too long. I'm at 4:03. I'm probably going to be off the phone and off the internets in about 30 minutes or so. Alejandro says, funny he doesn't consider himself a bass guy. I consider myself a bass guy for sure, Alejandro. But there was no question I'm a bass head guy. I love robust, rich bass. I don't like it booming though. That's the hard part. It's like, it's hard to express when you're like, yes, I'm a bass head. I like robust. I like thick. I like heavy bass. I like bass that wows me. But I don't like it to boom, and I don't like it to like have that. Like I like texture and detail and depth, and that's what the Abyss does, and even to an even better degree, that's what the LCD4 does, especially into the sub bass. The Elite is more like, well, it'll give you a boomy bass. There's a little bit of bloom going on, but it's great. It's great, and it's full, and I super enjoy. Really like the Elite. Obviously, I ranked them high, and I'm keeping them. I'm spending my spent my own money on them, bought them, and they're going to stick around. The 99 Noir are fun and controlled, fun sound for him at least. Okay, I haven't heard the Meze 99. Is that what we're talking about? 99 Noir. Yes. Hersto says he's having listened to most of the top of the line headphones. What is it about this hobby that excites me? Well, first, foremost, always is the music. The music excites me. I love music. I'm nuts about music. I love music. I love bands. I love the history of music. I love instruments. I am impressed ever so much by musicians and their ability to create and improvise and speak to me in a language that is pure emotion. So I always start with the music. What else do I love about this? And I like meeting you guys, the hobby. It still excites me to talk to somebody about something that they're really excited about, and they're super excited to share or talk about. That always, to this day, is like, right up there top of the top. That's why I was so sorry that I couldn't get to Can Jam, because I really like connecting with you guys. That's the best part, is like sharing your thoughts and like, hey, I found this and I like this. What do you think of this? What's exciting you these days? What music are you listening to? All that stuff. So it's having that interaction. It's not as fun as if you're in a late night room, although there's space for it. Late night room, just by yourself. It's more fun when you can share stuff. My biggest thrill is bringing in people who don't know a lot about headphones into this room and playing some stuff for them and watching their face as they experience a track that they've always loved in a different way. Like, oh my God, I've not heard this. Like, this is my favorite band, this is my favorite group, and I'm now hearing this music in a new way for the first time. Like, it's fun to do. So I love that about this hobby. Maybe it excites, and then the other thing that excites me is to see the growth in, the technical growth, and how the technical growth is about, is happening with the manufacturers, particularly in the IEM world, to see what they're able to fit into a tiny little. Do I have a pair of IEMs here? I'm sure I do. I always have a pair of IEMs at the right. Here they are. Look at this. Do it on the overhead, because I can, people. All right. Look at this. This is the Noble K10. There's 10 drivers in here. Now, granted, they are all balanced armatures, which is not the exotic of what they're doing today. But 10 drivers in that tiny thumb size. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And now they're fitting dynamic drivers and planers in there, and there's an electrostatic, a couple of electrostats on the market. Fantastic what they're doing. I mean, that's exciting. That's pretty cool. Ifabuk says, yeah, it has to be done right. He doesn't like super bass either, which is maybe why he doesn't like hi-fi. Oh, spicy take, Ifabuk. Okay, Michael, do you apply passive EQ on any of these headphones? No. No, I don't do EQ for a few reasons. The tinkerer in me would wind up messing with the EQ so much that I would forget to enjoy the music. So, no, that's number one. Number two, the guys who are regulars around here know I don't do EQ for the sake of the show. Like, some people will publish their EQs, and in my opinion, based on my experience with audio and the audio work I've done in my professional life, unless you have the exact same signal path, the exact same EQ, you're not going to hear what that person is recommending you to do to the sound. Because every EQ is different. You can push a 2K boost on, I'm trying to think, topping. Is that the one that's got no RME? On an RME, a 2 dB boost at 2K on an RME is going to sound completely different than if you did it in Roon on the software. Because, and why? How do I know this? Because if you go to the professional audio apps and the plugins you can buy, there are probably 200 different EQ schemes that you can purchase. And every one of them sounds subtly different. So no matter what you do, unless you're using the exact same EQing software, hardware, and the exact same way, you're not going to get my sound. You're not going to get what I'm doing to it. And that's unfair to do to you guys. That would be frustrating as a viewer to try and pick up, like, well, it doesn't sound very good to me. Well, yeah, because you're not using my exact signal path. With my exact software and apps that I'm using to goose this, to shape the sound. And it's too confusing, and it's just it would be an exercise in frustration. I'd rather put the headphones in, tell you what I think of them. You can shape them if you want, shape till your heart's content on your own. I think for the purposes of this show, I need to not do that. And for the purposes of my own sanity, because I'll sit there and tweak. I'll stop listening to the music. That would drive me crazy. Okay. Ifabug says a couple good paychecks recently. Not going to lie. Definitely blowing money. So I'll go over to Ifabug's house. Cheers, buddy. He's got the Dom on ice. All right. Getting down to it. Well, boy, there's even more in here. Have I considered the final, some final D8000? I've said this actually, Jan, I've said this often on the show, actually, that the final D8000, particularly the D8000, not so much the Pro, the D8000 is on my short list. It's a headphone that I really want to get in here. I recognize that I have not reviewed that. It's a glaring omission from my setup, and yes, I expect to like them very, very much based on what others have said. The HE1000s are very easy to drive. At JTV, this is our sticking it back and forth. Drive them with this, my friend. That's all I'm saying. Try to drive them with this. No, JTB knows I love the HE1000, and I like Hifiman. I'm a Hifiman fan. Hifabug says he was pissed. He tried to use Director's Garage code at Audio 46 this weekend. Well, did you do it all one word and without no spaces, and it denied him? And call there too. Call there too and find out what happened if you really want to do it. Final audio ear tips. The $5 ear tips. Thanks, buddy. If you're going to go buy a Susvara, use the coupon code. So funny. So funny. Trying to get his final audio tips. Yeah, but actually call there because if something went wrong, they'll fix it. They're the best. I'll see Fiend is back. Yes, and so is Tinder Hot, apparently. God, I hate people. We all are really that desperate? Seriously? I don't think so. I don't think so. I won't admit it. Show us the pillow after all that. All right, it's a round pillow, gentlemen. It's a round pillow that's kind of, I guess, in the lavender. It's not easy being me. The pillow prank. Love the unboxing. Run the pillow through the Hawaii. Will it come out mauve? Have you heard about the HM1 amp? No, I have not. No, I have not. And there's a lot out there that I haven't heard of, for sure. Calling the TT2 M scaler only pretty good. Well, actually, I mean, it was far more brutal than that. If you hunt down the if you actually hunt down the I'm sorry, I'm losing Tinder Hot. Sorry, guys. Something fell over. Yeah, it's that was far more brutal than that to what they called the cord stuff. I mean, it was mean. Hi-Fi Boog, cheers, buddy. $5. Thank you so much. Jordan dropping the 20-pound bomb on me. Man, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Just really appreciate it. You guys are the best, and I do this because I really enjoy you guys' company. I mean, we're now getting, we've been doing this for what, 8 months now? We've been doing almost weekly. 8 months we just do this hangout, and I so enjoy this time of the week and connecting with you guys, and appreciate the donations. It's always appreciated, but never expected. I promise you. And Jordan says, just say thanks for the work for the shootout. It could have been easy to compile. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was labor of love. I mean, I'm listening to headphones that I purchased that I really enjoyed. There's worse things to do. The work was in the post. I mean, it's like putting it all together, and and there was research. It was a good couple of weeks in that, and I couldn't post regularly because of that, and it probably hurt my YouTubes a little bit. They gave me, I had my YouTubes tied for a few weeks because they lower me in the rankings and they won't promote the channel. Yeah, so the membership drives the memberships really dried up for a few weeks while I was building that big shootout. But I got another one in the can. We're going to have a new show next week. We're going to do a blind unboxing from Audio 46 on the show, and I can tell you that I was impressed by what I heard and want to hear more. So it's really good. It should be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do that episode. We're going to get to the last few, and then I'm going to try and wrap it up around 4:30 because Mrs. Director, I got to start the weekend. Dustin Johnson says he has the Atrium and the Verite closed. Got to use a pair of final 8000s to complement them and couldn't be happier. Yeah, Jan, I so want to hear that the 8000. I do. It's definitely, it's on my short list, but there's no question. It's an omission. I just can't afford, obviously I can't afford everything. I've got 8, and those 8 are my 8 most expensive and top open backs. I still have closed backs. I have D820s that I from Hifiman, HD820s that I paid a ton of money for. I've got the Lyric I paid a ton of money for. I mean, there's other stuff here. And then the source gear. So, it gets up there so fast in price. It's actually, I wasn't joking when I said I could have had a Ferrari. I really could have bought a Ferrari with all the money I've spent on the gear in this, to gear up the Director's Garage. And I'm hoping that once I get all the subscribers, if you haven't yet, Yeah, I'm hoping that once I get all the subscribers, I can afford to buy a Ferrari. And then I'm gonna put my Woo amp on the back shelf. I'm gonna mount it. Yeah, you think you're impressed with that Macintosh and the new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Wait till you hear my Woo audio powered Ferrari. Provisorism. Lyric with the Qdelix 5K 2.5mm sounds balance sounds nice. Yeah, the lyric, and I say this about Meze. The props to Meze is this, and I'm not a hugest fan of the build of these. Ooh, that sounds good. Got some snazzy jazz happening in the background music. Hope you guys are enjoying that. That comes free of charge. So it comes at a cost of $20 a month from my friends at Epidemic Sound. So subscriptions on top of subscriptions. The best thing about the Mezes in general are they sound great paired with pretty much anything. They're very forgiving and efficient headphones, and for that alone, they're worth owning. Because you can drive them with your iPhone. It doesn't matter. So appreciate you all. Any new albums I'm excited about this year? Yes, and I mentioned it last week. Peter Gabriel is supposed to be coming out with his first new album in 20 years. I'm super excited to hear what he's been up to in 20 years. First brand new album for Peter Gabriel. That's coming up. I haven't done a deep dive into what's coming soon in music for a while because I've been a little out of touch with it as I've been doing all of this equipment related stuff. Yeah, so I'll look at it. Maybe I'll do that in an episode or two. I'll get back to doing the what is the section I do? Headlines. I'll do a headline section with new music coming out. Maybe I'll do that just to give you guys some what to look forward to before the end of the year. I know there's a new Taylor Swift album on the way. Some of it's been released, I think. I don't think all of it's been released, but some of it's been released. It's released a few tracks. Excited to hear that. I know people that don't like her. Just say that. I know people who don't appreciate Taylor Swift. I actually really think she's gifted, and a terrific singer, and writes great hooks and great melodies. I'm a fan of hers, so I'm always excited to hear what she's doing. I'm less excited about the hip hop stuff. I'm like, I don't want to pigeonhole anybody, but I just some of that stuff I'm less interested in. And of course my rock stuff, anything that's coming out new in rock, I'm always willing to listen. But admittedly, in 2022, it's a little dry in the rock front. There's not a lot out there that's exciting me. Where were the bands that, the recent bands from the last few years that came forward, like that with great records, and like I want to hear new entries from some of those young bands. Whatever happened to Jet? Remember the band Jet? They had a great album in like the mid to late teens of the 2000s, and never heard from them again. Like, what happened to them? Like, why don't we hear, why aren't they, what happened? Did they just get the one hit and then they couldn't replicate it? Or did they have more stuff? I need to revisit that stuff and find out. But yeah, that's, I would say definitely the Peter Gabriel I'm waiting to hear, though. I'm very excited about that. How well do I sleep at night knowing how much money I've spent on audio gear? How do I sleep well at night? All right, let's start with the first part of that question. How do I sleep well at night knowing I've spent so much on audio? Well, I've done the best I can to buy stuff at a discount. That's part one. So I bought tons used, so that when I go to sell the stuff, I won't take a complete bath on it. I'll be able to hopefully get around what I paid for it. So if it cost me $50 to do an episode, okay, I can live with that, 'cause it's not that bad. But I turn stuff over. I'm always selling as much as I'm buying. Do I have any buyer's remorse When's the last time I had buyer's remorse? It's a tough question to answer, but I would say this. I bought the Focal Stellia with every hope that it was going to blow me away. I thought it was going to be as impressive as the Utopia, and I can honestly say 100% truth, I was disappointed. That was, I don't know if I would have buyer's remorse because I did want to hear what they sounded like, and I got to hear what they sounded like. I just was expecting so much more from them because I have seen raves about the Stellia, about how it's the most amazing closed back, and you have to hear them to appreciate them and believe them. And the raves that came out about the Stellia when they were released, and it's like it's the uber high-end can, and that's that's exciting. That's like, oh man. And I ordered a pair. I found a pair used for a reasonable price, and I got them here. I don't know what to tell you. I just didn't click many of the boxes, if any at all. That was a disappointment. So that was the last time I was disappointed. But buyer's remorse, I don't know. I try not to live there. Just doing what I want to do and having fun and hoping that it comes across in the form of some sort of YouTube fun and television, and you all get some enjoyment out of it, and hopefully get some clicks and some subscribes out of it. Subscribers are back growing again, by the way. We're up to over 4.42, so that's 4,420 subscribers. So, that's kind of fun. We're almost halfway to 5K from our last shoot, 4K to 5K. We're almost to our next milestone, halfway there. So that's kind of cool. Have I ever considered one of the hollow audio DACs? No, I haven't. Will I? Maybe. I don't know. And some of this stuff starts coming, I'm going to start working with manufacturers again, I think at some point, to try and mitigate some of the costs of the show. And I may resurrect that iFi deal. They've been contacting me recently saying, hey, can we send you some of our latest? Maybe I will. But yeah, if Hollow, if I can get Hollow on the line and they want to send me something to check out, great. It's hard to buy. The problem is that amps aren't sexy, and amps don't rate. Nobody tunes in when I have a brand new amp to show off. Everybody tunes in when I have a new headphone to show off. So does it benefit me to be spending a lot of money on the backbones of the Director's Garage? I don't know. You make the call. It's more, if I've got the extra $4,000, wouldn't it be better to get, everything's a trade-off. Is it better to get I think you guys would say you'd rather see me check out the D8000 than the Hollow DAC, or, get in the whatever. You know what I'm saying. Next up, we're going to do the last few, and then I'm going to say good night to you all and have you enjoy your weekend as best you can and get on with it. Put that reel-to-reel in the Ferrari. Yeah, I could see it surface mounted in the back. We'd be changing reels. Upcoming Yamaha headphones are based on that D8000 look, and they look super cool. I'm hoping they sound just as good as they look because they're impressive. They look pretty impressive, man. I'm like, that's a headphone. Hopefully Audio 46 will see their way to send it to me. Which Ferrari, and if I could, which one would I want? Oh, it would be tough. That's a tough one. I like the OG 308. I like the Testarossa. I like the I even like the California, and that's like the one that everybody hated. I'm like, I think it looks cool. I'm talking about something I could actually afford, not something that. I'm not even a pie in the sky Ferrari guy yet, but I would love to have one. That would be so fun. That 8-cylinder with the high one, or the 12-cylinder. Find a 12-cylinder. Those are really expensive though. You're getting into the hundreds of thousands. Check out Big Thief. Okay. I wouldn't. Are you saying I should steal a Ferrari? Purple Dolo, hey, first time poster, Perp Dolo. Cheers, brother. Welcome. You'll feel better when you find out what SPE LA. I'm not sure we completed a thought there. But cheers to you, buddy. Happy you joined in and stopping in another weekday and or another Director's Garage Live. And by the way, that sound you heard, that click, that's the that's this magic trick, the condensation sticking to the coaster. Last couple, we're going to say goodbye. Actually, D8000 are based on orthodynamic tech that Yamaha brought back to the market in that way. It's great. Yeah, Yamaha is just getting back into the game, which is exciting. Hey, and anybody who can bring something to it, you know, something new, some new take, man, welcome. Bring it. Because it's just going to push the other guys to do better. Check out Big Thief is the band. I should check out. Okay, I will. I'm definitely going to check them out. Mike Danello, that's what we're getting. That's where I'll go right. In fact, I'm going to type it in because I have that little music machine up, the Rune, because I had just finished shooting Director's Garage 122 when we went on the air. That's why I was delayed by a couple minutes. You'll see a slate if you watch the replay. But Big Thief. See all results. They're not on Rune. Son of a biscuit. Big. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. It's up. It's up. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Oh, let's start the outro music. Outro. Hey, I want to thank you guys for stopping by the Director's Garage today. Tip your waiters and waitresses on the way out, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I really do hope you guys enjoyed the shootout. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun, and the you know, again, it's all subjective, but it got us all talking and thinking about what it is we like about our different products, and I think that's good. So cheers to you all, and have a great weekend, and watch the episodes again if you want to. You can watch the replay of this one if you want to, but seriously, enjoy your weekend and listen to some good music, and listen to Big Thief. I'm going to go listen to them right now. Okay, everybody, I will see you before you know it. You'll have a new episode next week, I promise, because I already shot it. There you go. I just have to, you know, do all the things to it digitally and make it a show. All right, cheers, everyone. Let's do this. I have the hardest time getting off the air. You guys know this, right?